Thank you for tuning in to Investment Insight presented by McCay Wealth Advisory. My name is Hayden Proffitt. Joining us today we have Brent McCay. Brent, tips and overtime. The taxation has changed a little bit. Can you hit on that?
Right. So the big one, first one for tips, is for a tipped employee that qualifies in a profession the IRS is going to come up with later that qualifies for tips. So we assume waiters and waitresses would be a given, but the IRS is going to get some further information on who qualifies as a tipped employee and who doesn't. But up to $25,000 a year in tips going forward should be tax-free for people in a qualified profession. Now, that phases out when your income is $150,000 as an individual or $300,000 as a joint couple. So this ends in 2028, but you may want to consider filing separately if you're in one of these professions if your spouse makes a lot more money or the way it works out. So that's one thing to factor in, that now there's a reason to consider filing separately. So make sure you make a note of this for your accountant if you're a tipped employee, and we should have some further guidance on who qualifies as a tipped employee, because there's some gray area, right? Does the manager of a restaurant qualify as a tipped employee, or is it only the waiter and the waitress?
Or does the cook?
Or is it cook? And so we don't know the answer, but that'll be another thing. Now the other one, the big one's overtime. This one gets a little complicated, so listen to us very closely. So overtime, a portion of overtime, the half of the time and a half. So if you get paid overtime, you get paid for your time, and then you get another 50% for the overtime. So the half in the time and a half is not going to be taxable for up to $12,500 for an individual, $25,000 for a joint couple. But just like with tips, the income phases out at $150,000 to $300,000. But it's not the full amount of money you make for that full hour of overtime. It's the additional 50% you get in working time and a half. And so there is some questions on how this will be acknowledged on W-2 and how this will go, but that's how it works at the moment. So if you are getting overtime, just like with tips, you may want to consider filing separately this year, being a income situation, but you also want to be careful to understand that it's the half in the time and a half, or basically the third of what you get paid in overtime is what's going to want to count for overtime. So these are pretty cool changes.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks for explaining those to us. I know those can get a little hairy and kind of confusing if you just read them. You're like, the half of time and a half?
Right. And also ask your accountant, because we're not tax advisors, so you need to ask your accountant. This applies to you because this is our best efforts to provide the information.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for talking to us about this today, and thank you for tuning in as well. Hope you have a great day.